Thank you. Hello everybody, my name is Craig Bennett and I'm the founder and owner of TechViewsNope, and today we are going to get into another Python tutorial. In this tutorial we're going to get into objects, functions, syntax, and style. Now as far as things goes, if you haven't seen my previous video on variables, feel free to check out the card somewhere towards the top and that'll take you to that. However, if you have seen this or want to skip ahead, then feel free to check out the card at the top and I'll skip you ahead. Now with this, if that card's not there, keep in mind that video is probably not out, and these videos come out once or twice a week depending on my schedule. Now let's jump on in. Function. So quickly explain this just using an example. Let's say you're taking a picture, like a digital camera. Digital cameras normally have multiple ways of taking a picture. You can take a picture from the click button at the top, or you can say time it, so you can say a 10-second delay, you walk away and wait for the thing to flicker and then take the picture, and there you go. So it has multiple ways of taking a picture. Instead of writing a code over and over and over and over, you can just write a function and just trigger the function by something. And triggering a function is called calling a function or call a function. So when you hear me say call a function, that's the actual technical terms. But say you press the flicker button, want to take a picture, you can call the function right there, or you can do the delay time thing and call the function from there. So instead of having to write the function twice or more, depending if there's other ways, you can just write once and just call it multiple ways. It's just an easy way of doing that. And within the function you have a way to save, take the day and time, put it on the picture, and so on and so on. It's a pretty simple way. And an example is we got a function, and then for here we got a variable, and then we got a string equals to the variable. It's named the string, I just put string. And then down here we're calling the variable and showing it. So with this, showing a quick example. Right here we have print string, and it does that. So it's pretty much the same as if we replace that with a string. Or prints then the variable, so we define a variable right here and said ABC, and then it print it in its ABC. That's all that is. It's simple as that. Objects is anything, is value. Objects will have attributes and methods. So with this, I'm an object, I'm a human, so therefore I'm an object in real life. And attributes, eye color, height, things of this nature. Methods is what can I do, talk, walk, breathe, eat, whatever. Well, same thing applies to encoding. Is you got objects, attributes for the objects, and then the methods, what can the object do. You will actually find this quite a bit on my Android tutorial, by the way, and this is on multiple languages, obviously, since with Android tutorials so far I've been doing Java and XML, and with the Java you'll really see that. So check that out if you're trying to study for both. Let's go into styles and syntax. Style is basically a list of rules, unwritten mostly, but a list of rules that people follow so we can understand each other's code. Now, yeah, you can not follow it and your code still will work, but for the most part you want to follow it so the next person can go behind and read and understand, or make it as easy as possible. And you'll find this across the board no matter what language you got. And even real world languages, same thing. And syntax is different. Syntax, if you break those, the code won't work. So with this, for example, if we didn't have 4 spaces between here and there, the block, then what would happen is it will give us a syntax error. Same thing. And by the way, to get this, you can just press tab and go with that. So there's syntax for functions, variables, like this. If we didn't have that, then it wouldn't trigger the right thing. Basically, by not using proper syntax, you can get the code to do something you don't want it to do, go to an area you don't want to go, or just not work at all. And that's important to note. So some of the syntax to keep in mind is, like with the function, you can use underscores, but you cannot use the minus sign because it will think you're wanting to minus. Underscores is fine. Lowercase is fine. Things like this is fine. And a lot of this stuff is depending on the language you're going with, Java, Objective-C, and so on, you're going to need to figure out what each syntax is, and that's pretty important to note in itself. In fact, 90% of learning a language is really just learning the syntax, and you can pretty much put on a small card for a given language the syntax for it. For another language, another small card, and it's not that hard to learn a language like that. The 10% is the other stuff, like with Python versus Java, making in that earlier. Just interjecting real quick because I forgot to do this, is I'm going to leave a link below to this, what you're seeing, and basically when you go to it, make sure it's active. If not, look for style guide on Python, and this is the actual Python site. And the reason why I'm showing this is this gets into detail on what's allowed and what's not. It gets into syntax stuff too, but it gets in detail with all the stuff, and it'll get a lot more detailed than I can ever be. And if something changes, it will change here, or if it doesn't say active, then you can search for a style guide and they'll show the active one. But for the most part, what this is showing is something that will constantly stay updated, or at least you can find easily if this is outdated or not, and that way I don't have to worry about making a new video each time there's a change. But anyways, as far as that goes, I know this is probably clear as mud, but we're going to get more into this, and this will become clear when we're writing code. So keep that one in mind. But if you find this helpful at all, then feel free to leave a like, subscribe, and share. Got any questions, leave that down in the comment section. Try to get back to us as possible. And see you in the next video, and hope you have a great day.